Happy birthday, United States of America. With each passing day, the irony of our country's name expands to comedic proportions. Comedic, but in a way that's not actually humorous on any level. How can we continue to call ourselves the United States when the last time we were this divided, we were thrown into a civil war in order to mop up the mess? Catching up on the TV news reinforced the deeply troubling circumstances that now confront the citizens of the divided states of America. I'm going with that moniker for now. Sticking with the United States is becoming too difficult to say with a straight face, and lately it hurts too much to laugh at all. If you caught Dave Chappelle's last special, you see that even he's hard-pressed to not make people laugh because he could do that in his sleep. I relate to his apathy regarding mustering the desire to make people laugh at all. Nothing's funny. Nothing's funny. I can't think of a more sad statement, but it's true. The first story I watch as I turn on the TV after 3 days is coverage of both of Trump's holiday speeches. First Mount Rushmore, then the backyard at the White House, or as I like to call it now, the offensively White House. Donald Trump is the original Karen, a dark-hearted opportunist who raped us of our ability to experience American pride on the day of our republic's birth by seizing the moment to deliver a couple of deeply troubling campaign speeches, reminding all who don't have their heads wedged tight inside his diaper-wrapped asshole that his only agenda since slithering into the Oval Office is figuring out a way to remain there for a second term. Having foobarred the U.S. pandemic response, out of concerns for what the effect might have on, you guessed it, his re-election prospects, and his inability to reach out to a nation in terrible pain over some very real social issues that have for too long hobbled our ability to even really rise to the core ideals of what America is supposed to be about. Lacking even an ounce of compassion or integrity or the ability to give a flying fuck about any of us, including his core believers. You core believers must understand in your heart that that's true. If forsaking you meant a leg up for him on any level, he wouldn't piss you out if you were on fire. Failing on all fronts in an almost strategic manner, he has decided to double down on pandering to the worst among us by preaching division and othering and stoking the fire of hatred that crackles all around us, choking us for lack of oxygen, like the climate-borne bi-yearly fires that now ravage California on a regular basis. There is zero containment, and we can't breathe. His labeling of BLM protesters as terrorists and evil people that seek to destroy the country that they don't even understand. If I had tuned in a little late, I would have assumed he was describing himself. The next story I endured had to do with the alarming flurry of gun violence that broke out across the nation over the holiday weekend. It doesn't seem like it's grabbing a lot of traction, and that's for the best. Don't get me wrong. My heart breaks over the notion of innocent and already 2020 weary folks, including a couple of 8-year-old little girls, losing their lives to gunfire while simply hoping to catch some fireworks and maybe wave a sparkler. But the inflation of that story is bullshit. They say 108 people lost their lives to gunshots over the weekend. But where's the news, folks? Every day, more than 100 Americans are killed with guns. Every day. The public outrage was real when 27 first graders were not just gunned down in Sandy Hook in the span of 5 minutes, they were shredded by bullets from a weapon that has no place off the battlefield, a weapon that uses bullets larger than those children's shoes. 93% of Americans demanded stronger national background checks, not a ban on assault weapons, just a more efficient background check. And Moscow Mitch, the NRA's favorite little bitch, didn't even put it up for a vote. 93%, folks, the closest you'll ever get to a consensus in the divided states of America. Where was the outrage when our outrage was so disrespectfully ignored by our elected officials? The motivation behind this gun violence over the weekend news thread was to gin up fear that the BLM protests and demands for less policing and a complete overhaul of the systemically racist legal system in these divided states of America has already opened the door for lawlessness and unbridled violence. Bullshit. 100 Americans a day, every day. This isn't new, and it isn't news, and it isn't going to work this time. And Trump's lies at the podium, that he lures the divided in with big shiny fireworks to hear him tell. Fireworks that explode over the giant sculpted heads of dynamic but flawed men on stolen land from this country's first citizens who our treatment toward and betrayal of leaves us about as karmically fucked as a nation as our legacy of slavery does regarding the black citizens of this divided nation. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck his lying mouth. I've never ever seen that man open his mouth to speak and not have anything but, if not out and out lies, then at best severe distortions of the truth flow out with abandon. They dribble past his bad breath and spray about like infectious droplets from his "only pussies wear masks" touting an extremely punchable, smug-ass face. Trump doesn't deserve to compete again for the highest office in the land. It's no longer appropriate to tag leader of the free world onto that title because Trump destroyed the global acknowledgement that once accompanied that claim. Happy birthday, America. In 3.5 insufferable years, we have gone from the world's heroes and stewards of freedom and democracy to the biggest bunch of fucking chumps the world has ever known. There is a collective global jaw drop as the 7 billion people that don't live here stare at what's happening here in utter disbelief and wonder how the fuck we could have possibly turned over the reins to that miserable, self-serving, racist, misogynistic, pathologically lying piece of shit. Happy birthday, America. I hope that next year I can say that again with sincerity and a revived sense of humor. I'm Fred Goss, and this is What's Left.